you, Karine. The president, in less than 3 weeks, is going to be delivering commencement addresses at both Morehouse and West Point. What sort of environment is the White House preparing for the president to encounter there?
So when you speak about environment, security, or anything like that, that's something for the Secret Service to speak to. I can't speak to that. What I can say is the president is very much looking forward to speaking to graduates.
What mood does he expect to encounter on campus?
What
I know
mood?
you can't talk about.
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to get into hypotheticals here. The president is hoping to encounter and deal with and see family members and students who are thrilled and excited to be celebrating an important day. He's going to be celebrating that day with them, talking about their future, hoping to deliver remarks that hit home for these graduates and their families. It's a special day. It's a special day. And so he's looking forward to doing that. He did two commencement speeches last year, two before then, before 2023, obviously. And so this is something that he looks forward to doing. I can't speak to the mood. I can't speak to security situation. I can't speak to that. I can't get into hypotheticals. I can speak to how important that moment is going to be, and the president certainly looks forward to it.
But is it the White House's expectation that some of the current frustration on campus will have subsided by that time? And if so,
Yeah,
why?
I don't have a crystal ball to look into and look into the future. I just don't. That is not something that I have the ability of doing. What I can say is this is an important day. This is an important month, yes, graduation month, but an important day for these graduates. And he's, as the president tends to do when he speaks at graduation, he's going to meet the moment.
And just to follow up on the question about some of the reports from police that the protesters that were arrested in New York were not students. Yesterday, John Kirby said that there was no intelligence to support the idea that there were bad actors involved in some of these protests. Does the intelligence still support that?
I'm just going to be really mindful. I'm just not going to speak to that. There's local enforcement, law enforcement on the ground, so I will speak to that. I think what I can say more broadly, this is a painful moment, and we understand that for many communities, and we know that these kinds of charge moments pose challenges for law enforcement, and the president continues to believe, as I've said multiple times, that Americans have the right to peacefully protest within the law. That is their right. It is part of our freedoms here in America, and at the same time, we are going to condemn anti-Semitism. We believe that is hate speech. It is abhorrent, and we're going to continue to condemn that.
Well, with that said, I mean, does the president believe New York Mayor Adams and leaders of Columbia University and City College of New York acted appropriately by having the protesters at those colleges arrested and their encampments forcibly shut down?
That is a decision for colleges and universities to decide on. The law enforcement, if you think about local law enforcement, they know what's going on the ground. They have a better sense of what's going on the ground, and obviously they have to make decisions. We are talking about protecting students and making sure that they feel safe on campus. We're talking about a small group of students who are disrupting that ability for students to have that academic experience. That's what we're talking about here. We believe, and I will continue to say this, Americans have the right to peacefully protest within the law. That is incredibly important. And we also have to condemn hate. We have to condemn anti-Semitism. That is something that this president believes. We also understand, as I just stated to your colleague, that many communities, this is a painful time and is a very charged environment, charged moments. When you see those type of charged moments, they do pose challenges for law enforcement. But that is their decision to make.
Well, when we look nationwide, all these protests erupting at college campuses, has the response, been the appropriate response, or has it been, too harsh?
So look, there's going to be local investigations. There's going to be cases on this, and I don't want to get ahead of that. I can't go into every case here. What I can say is, in these charged moments, we understand how difficult it is. We understand how painful it is in this moment, and how because of those charged moments, it can be challenging for law enforcement. At the same time, students have to be allowed, Americans have to be allowed to peacefully protest. That is important. That is part of our freedoms here in America. We got to make sure that we continue to say that. We believe in this administration that we have to continue to say that and call out any anti-Semitism that we see. It is dangerous. It is abhorrent. We got to call that out.